Now the clock has started. That means that you are listening to Conversation Oasis. This is a weekly free-flow talk show which comes to you from the Kasviskeidas restaurant here in the centre of Turku. My name is David Mawby. I host this programme, and our guests today are, as usual, the proprietor of our restaurant here and host, Jalem. We also have a new member of the team today, Varun, who is a PhD student in thesis in chemical engineering, I believe. And next to him we have Asanti, who is a student chef. You come to the right place, I think, because this is a veggie restaurant. You're a member of the Animal Justice Party and were a candidate in the last local election. You've been in Finland for 4 years, and I believe that can I say that you are half Ghanaian?
That is indeed correct.
I think it is correct, which means that this guy is also a DJ, he loves African music, he loves electronic music, which fits in very well with part of our discussion later on. We also have Tuomas, who for his part is a student of sociology and a rap artist. You are part of the Päiväkerho, which is daycare, but he's not looking after children. He's a rapper artist, and also as a solo artist goes under the name of Spartakush.
Spartakush. Yeah.
And then we have a regular here, Sami, who is also a student of sociology.
Hello.
Hello, yes. And who we now have learned is also a member of the Päiväkerho rap group. A big welcome to all of you. Now, I want to start off with a subject that is very close to the heart of all of us. We are all being told time and time again to recycle. It's a darn good idea, because the more we reuse things on this planet, the better future we have for ourselves. But sometimes when I go to the rubbish bin, I'm always perplexed why there is no separate collection for plastic materials, as there is in some countries. I say that this, I think this is a matter very close to your heart, isn't it, Asanti? You're not too happy about the way things are organised in Turku.
No. Turku, like many cities and places in the world, has a waste management problem. The problem here locally is that most plastics are not really sorted into what is called energy waste, as is done in even some other cities in Finland. For example, Oulu has some of that, Helsinki in some areas. There is a clear distinction between burnable waste and plastic waste that can be recycled and repurposed and not just released in the atmosphere just like any lump of wood. And that does sadden me quite a lot in Turku.
Now that is the problem. What's the solution? And another question is, why is the city of Turku so lax in this matter?
I wish I really knew the answer to that, but there have been some issues with the way that the waste management has been run. There are several companies, waste disposal companies, which are competing for the contracts for waste management in the city, and some of the bigger companies have been having lots of some issues recently. Mainly their running has been a bit too expensive, and also the other smaller waste management companies cannot seem to get the right kind of contracts or the right kind of system built that would be accepted by the city council.
How competent do you feel these outsourced companies are at actually doing the job?
Well, I think that depends on the company, but not everybody gets to show what they can do.
I'd like to bring in Varun, your opinion on this. Do you recycle?
Oh, well, yeah, I have some dumpsters next to my building where I live. And like any other good citizen, I dump my waste time to time. I don't know if I produce a lot of waste. I don't know, to be honest. And I actually never thought about this whole thing of burnable plastic waste and non-burnable plastic waste. It just seems like a really good idea.
I think the issue with the plastic which is not recycled in most of the countries in the world is very cheap oil. Very cheap oil. I think if it's a little bit more expensive, people know what it is and then they start to recycle. As we have this recycle system about all these computer machines and other things which are very expensive. People pay a lot of money, so they are recycled here in Europe or they are sent somewhere else to be recycled, even though those also make pollution, but still they are recycled. So oil is very cheap. Plastic is made by oil, and so it's worthless. So most of it goes to the ocean, it goes to the water. And then it's not just our time, it will pollute our future too.
Yes, and I think there was a picture released earlier this week, or at least a couple of weeks ago, showing this absolutely huge mass of plastic waste in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. And it's not just there in the Pacific Ocean, there is a similar island of plastic muck in the Atlantic, which of course when it breaks down goes inside fish and it comes back into the human food chain as well, which is hardly healthy. And it always saddens me whenever I visit a beach in southern Europe to see it strewn so often with old plastic bottles. At least here in Finland, well, we have a plastic bottle on the table here, don't we? This is a soft drink, and if I'm not mistaken, yes, you can get 20 cents back on this when you take it to the shop. But I think that, don't you think there's room here for more consumer pressure on the companies not to use plastic? Sami?
Yeah, I think there should be like more alternatives, or maybe just. Well, I don't have one idea in my mind at the moment.
And Tuomas, is this yours?
It's
Actually,
mine.
it's Sami's Mumi lemonade.
Don't judge me.
What's your opinion of this? Do you recycle?
Yeah, I try my best, but I think there are many like plastic forms that you don't get any money that you can return to the shops. And that could be some kind of alternative to like multiply the ones that you can get money of. I think that could encourage some people to like recycle more.
I would like to add, I myself personally, I cannot remember last time I bought something with plastic. I don't drink Coke or any juice or anything. And this is one good thing. I usually consume a lot of milk, and I try to. They have always in paper bottle.
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
Yes. Packaging material.
Yeah. So maybe I don't know. I think it's just the economics. I mean, as long as it's cheaper than paper bottles, I don't know.
So the
it's hard to do
plastic
something.
containers are not also so healthy.
Yeah, of
Because
course.
as soon
yeah,
as the sunshine is just changing the chemistry of the content, so it's not so healthy. It causes probably cancer. And
You cannot like
yes.
these kind of bottles. You cannot use it for long term. It says that you have to dump it or recycle it after a week or two or something.
Yes, there are many kinds of like, I think they're called phthalates, these chemical compounds that dissolve into the liquid inside, and they can cause like developmental problems in people.
Oh, okay.
In adults, but especially in kids too. So that's why it's a bad idea to reuse the same plastic bottle as your own personal water bottle. I recently made the switch to a glass bottle myself.
Okay.
Finally.
That's good to know, actually.
The one thing that really I can't get my head around is that there is a total lack of information these days as to why we should recycle, why we shouldn't use plastic. Even in southern Europe, I can remember 5 years ago in Portugal seeing posters everywhere which visibly showed the population what was the breakdown time of various waste items, and plastic was one of them. I think it was 100 years at least before it starts to break down, which is horrific if it's dumped on a beach. But here in Finland, we seem to it is assumed that people will recycle. I don't have the statistics to hand, but I have a nasty suspicion every time I open my waste bin, where it's just the general household burnable waste, that it's full of stuff that shouldn't be there. Where is the propaganda telling people, hey, recycle? It's a question of our future and the future of our children's children as well.
Yeah, that's very true. There is a certain lack of this kind of information, and it seems to me like my experience is that in Finland we live in this kind of dream or illusion that we are a country that has beautiful nature and we love it, and of course we take care of it. But what I found out when I lived in Brussels, actually, that Brussels it has a population of 1.5 million, so 3 times more than Helsinki. It is actually the greenest capital in Europe. The recycling program works with more than 85% efficiency. There are more green zones than in any other capital. I think almost any other capital in Europe. And when I heard that, that really shattered the image I had about the Finnish life in the ecosystem. It's really not that great. And also the management is not really that efficient at all here, except for the money you get for collecting cans and stuff. That does keep the environment quite good looking, cosmetically speaking, but it's still far from over.
Except on May Day Eve and on New Year's Eve, when the roads are littered with broken glass, and I wonder why that is tolerated when it's not tolerated if you look at the legal textbooks. But that's another issue, isn't it? I just think that when you have waste management in private hands, the profit is always going to be the number one thing in the minds of the people who run these companies. And I do feel that local authorities should take a more aggressive stance on this, because waste not, want not is a lovely cliche, but it also means that we have a better tomorrow as well.
Well, there is another issue. When there is a plastic bottle in your hand and you drink your juice or your drink, so how often it's very difficult to find a trash can or any recycle bin to throw it there. So how far you should carry it with you until you find some place suitable for recycle? The problem is that we shouldn't use this kind of material for the container. So we should find better material suitable for the nature to recycle itself.
Yes, these kind of materials have actually been developed, and they're getting quite well known. For example, have you heard about this this drinkable bubble?
Yeah. It's a new one.
Yeah, it's the shell that is made out of cellulose, and you can make a small hole into it. You can drink from the bubble, and after that you can eat it.
Oh, cool.
Done. And it's just made out of, I think, recycled wood pulp or something like that, so that the cellulose breaks down and it actually turns into healthy fibers in the body, even.
Where can I get one?
That's a good question. I mean,
Those.
I really would like to see much more of these materials being used on a wide scale.
Sounds really
I cannot with this
wise.
bubble. No.
Take the sugar out of that and you'll be all right. And all the E numbers as well. And then you've got a healthy drink if you put it in its bubble.
There's also this thing, I think, apart from the bottles that are obviously plastic, I saw a video where they mentioned that, for example, the cups in Starbucks, they also contain a lot of plastic and they are not recyclable.
That's right, yes.
So we have to be maybe careful of those kind of products also. I mean, like people drink a lot of coffee nowadays.
And if consumers can move to get Starbucks to pay taxes in the country where they operate, then I think consumers can also pressure Starbucks into using a more environmentally friendly packaging material as well. And I'm sure some of you'll go along with that, being something of an environmental activist yourself.
I wouldn't call myself that, but yeah, I care about these issues, and yeah, I think that one of the problems is that it's something that we don't see in our everyday life, so that's how we don't get like majority to think like that.
Yeah.
So
we need more awareness.
yeah.
We need more online campaigns instead of playing online games.
More online campaigns instead of online games. Yes, I think we'll drink some of your soft drink to that, all of us.
Yeah.
Okay, you're listening to Conversation Oasis, a weekly free-flowing talk show here on Radio Robin Hood with my guests Jale, with Varun, with Asanti, Thomas, Sami, and yours truly, David. Move on to a lighter subject now, because I know that I'm surrounded by music guys, even though I'm perhaps one myself as well. And we're going to have a look now at some aspects of the alternative music scene here in Turku. Asanti, you're a great fan of electronic music. Do you DJ?
I dabble.
You dabble.
Yes.
Don't be shy, you can be more specific.
All right. Well, I've been a fan of electronic music since I was a kid, early teenager. I think the first techno artist I ever heard was DJ Tiesto. He was very big back then. And remember that time when Eminem rapped like, and nobody listens to techno? Well, it's the opposite is true. Everybody listens to techno, especially now. So yeah, I think Turku is great. It has like it has a good techno scene, but you can hear so many different genres of music in the events here. Also thanks to organizations like Axrust and Työmy.
Työmy, could you explain that please? What do you mean by Työmy?
Työmy is the Turku University Friends of Electronic Music.
Friends of the Friends of Electronic Music.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes, and it's kind of like a club or / collective, which is free for any university members to join, and it's a great place if you are interested in listening to electronic music, if you want to learn how to play it, or if you want to maybe organize a kind of like techno night in a bar or in other locations sometimes. I recommend joining it if you're interested.
I recommend too.
And I think we can freely advertise, because it's a non-commercial venture, the fact that this Friends of Electronic Music of the University of Turku do have regular Wednesday evening gigs in Kirjakahvila, which is also very much a sort of non-profit sort of place. So between 7 and 11, very good music indeed. What's your own particular favorite genre of electronic music?
Well, my own particular number one favorite is drum and bass. It's I love it how it's active, it's multi-level, and it's also something you don't hear on the radio, especially. So that's what I really want to. That's what I also wanted to play more. I started learning how to play like with decks and mixers.
Yeah.
I think it was about 2, maybe 3 years ago, and it was just because I was living in Oulu at the time, and in some of the parties you would hear drum and bass, but it was not the kind of drum and bass I liked. It was the heavy, darker sound kind of stuff, like jungle, but neurotic jungle. And what I wanted to hear more was like, the melodic stuff, the liquid drum and bass. So I think Turku has also quite a good, let's say, how do you say tarjonta in English?
Good selection, good offering, yes.
Yes. Very lots of variety.
There are many raves, I think I have seen you one time at one of those.
Yeah?
I have some kind of like...
So come on, Tuomas, what's your interest in music then?
Well, I play music myself. I actually play drums with Sami sitting next to me. We play jazz, like funk style of music, like rhythms. I also make rap music myself, and Sami is playing saxophone in this group called Päivän. Yeah, but I've been I like the raves scene much. I like to go to forest raves. I've been like 3 times in this festival called Cosmos, and some of Työmy's parties actually too. Yeah. Have you been in Cosmos?
I've been there twice. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. It's a lovely place for a weekend. Like the forest and the music and how they like set up the whole place in Ristina, I think.
Okay, I was just going to ask you, where can we sample this? Where can we sample, no pun intended, where can we listen or go and enjoy Cosmos?
Well, the festival happens once a year. Yeah. But true. I mean, it's a certain type of festival. Its main thing is psytrance and all kinds of like psychedelic music. You can also listen to, for example, like dub. There was like a fantastic dub stage at Cosmos this year.
The smaller one. And
yeah.
There's a big tent, and it's like there are some kind of like a chill stage when you can just relax, and then there are like the pumping places, like music is
so much variety.
And some of us missed it. Oh God, no.
But,
and where is that, you said?
It was in a place called Ristiina near Mikkeli in eastern Finland, about 5 hours from here.
Yes, yes.
Once a year festival happened for the fourth time. But if you're interested in stuff like that, there is another party organizing collective called the Villasukka in Turku, and they make. I've heard they make like maybe 2 or 3 events per year. So if you know somebody who knows them, you should get the invitations.
So Villasukka, wooden sock, not wooden, sorry, I mean woolen sock, yes. And of course if you like roots reggae, there's also Healing the Nation, who performed marvellously in Koronen in May. That was one I didn't miss. Varun, do you play music yourself?
A bit of guitar, taught myself. But lately I've been for the last 2-3 years I've been mostly listening to just hip hop. Back in college I was mostly listening punk, a lot of Strokes and Radiohead. But I don't know. I mean, I don't go to that many live events here, especially in Finland. I don't understand Finnish, but I actually like the Finnish rap. I don't know. It sounds good.
Yeah.
Some Swedish rap. That's good. Some French rap, but mostly rap from US.
Yeah.
Like nowadays I'm
Gangster rap.
No. Modern rap I think is really good. I think it's probably the most innovative genre.
Why do you laugh when I say gangster rap? Shouldn't I know about this?
I think it's just because most of the rap I think is about anger, but they said that in Finland rap is not at all about anger. It's more.
It really depends. Yeah, I think because it wouldn't be that no one would take us seriously if we would go there and rap really angry in an angry way, like we're these middle class white boys from Finland who want to tell how everything sucks.
I rap about money and clothes.
So what do you rap about?
Oh, perfect.
What do you rap
about? Yeah, what do you rap about?
I think Päiväkerho has some like societal themes.
Societal themes,
I consider social problems maybe, but from a higher point of view, like looking at the statistics maybe more.
We're like criticizing things in some songs, like class structures and like
that's
the
sociological background.
But we also have like lighter songs that are like telling you have a nice weekend.
But more is about telling a story. It's not just
telling stories.
Anger
not about anger, but there are some songs we have like you have to be in some this type of level that you can't be too happy about it. But there are also songs we make like you can be happy
Well, I can tell you that in 3 minutes' time we're going to hear an example of Päiväkerho, courtesy of Tuomas and Sami, which is going to be broadcast immediately after this program and before a program where you might even hear drum and bass, and it's called Ramones to Rachmaninoff, which follows this particular program on a Monday afternoon, but I will not advertise that anymore. Where do you go from here? I mean, how does rap develop? I mean, it seems to me that that's a good question to ask.
Where do we go?
Yeah.
I think for us it's been like, we're just getting started, I think.
We have played 3 gigs now in total in Turku.
Yeah.
And one plan that we have is actually add more live instruments. And for example, while Tuomas plays drums, I've seen him at the band camp, like a band plays, like playing and rapping at the same time, and I think that is something we could actually do on stage.
Is it easy to get gigs?
To get gigs, I think like when we had our first gig in Dynamo Bar in Turku, like then I talked to people in the particular situation, and they said you can come to play this place, and then we went there, the Bari, and it's all about the social connections. Like you have to like see the people and talk to them. Is it easy? It's pretty.
I got a few friends in Helsinki Pop Yachts Academy, and what their like teachers told them, it's not about how well you play, it's how much you go to parties and meet people.
That's true. Yeah, basically.
Asante, where can we hear you playing?
I'm in a moment when my laptop is not cooperating with me, so I haven't been able to put out any sets. But you will see me helping out and hanging around all of Työmy's events, especially the Keskuskeidas one this summer, and also later on in the autumn there will be more events coming up. And we will also be returning, I hope, to Bar Kuka, where there will be the first Tuesday of the month. Työmy organizes Tiistai Tech, which is like an open stage for anybody who would like to give it a spin.
Okay, thank you very much. The clock is always against us, especially as we're going to have 3 minutes coming up in just a moment of Päivä Kerho. Just tell us a little bit about this track that we are going to endeavour to play.
Well, it's called Don't Read the News. It's Älä lue uutisia. I think the name gives it all at this point.
And I might just add that there is Tuomas is rapping, my good friend Valtteri Nieminen is rapping, and
Yes,
yeah.
I wish
Some
I'd-
place to phone.
I wish I'd heard the name of that track 15 years ago. My life would have been much different. Okay, thank you very much for joining us. We've been joined
Thank
here
you.
in Conversation Oasis with Yalev, from Varun from India, from Asante here in Turku, Tuomas and Sami, and yours truly, David Mawby, blushing. And let's listen now to Päivä Kerho. But we'll be back next week at these same times. Thanks for listening.
Don't read the news.
And don't pollute.
Mitä me tehdään ja mä nyt koitan pysy kyydissä. Mikäli tiiput funky basso pysyy tyylissä. Tykytös letkeä kykyni lempeä sulle, jos vuoron vaikutat ja pystyt antaa takas kaikille lyyristä. Mut sulla on korvat kiinni ja mulla on korvat kiinni. Kävelen tiedostomattomassa messissä pullon viini. On mukava kun ei näe mitä, aion pää pitää piilos. Ei tarvi sääliä, kiitos. En lukenut päivän lehteä, tavoite olla letkeä tavalla jota ettei on uniikki. Mutta lyhyt enkä lempeä, vaan selkeä ja hyvän näköinen ainakin melkein. Tykitä verseen tätä joka miellyttää mun svägä. Hei jäbedi jäkedi jäbäs, jos sun mutelat sisänne ääni mutella. Ota tukeva asento, istu alas, me jutellaan vie kauan. Niin kauan, et uutislukijalla katke nau. Niin kauan, et uutislukijalla katke nau.
Pistä pää ja silmät kiinni, älä lue uutisia. 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 Luen uutisia maks pari kertaa viikos ja silloinkin totee, et luoja kiitos ei tarvi yhtään se enempää. Eihän sitä kenelkään kestäs pää. Mut et tullut tänne saarna, vaan puhu. Kadu liikkuu huhu, touhu täyttä pakko kauhuilu. Ja kaikki on rahaa. Tehdään rukoilustakin maksullinen tapahtuma. Kyhti Timo. Oikeesti, kaikki näkee. Nenä kasvaa niinku Pinokki jo. Eiks vois välillä ottaa chilli? Ei aina tarvi juosta. Vaik joku puhaltaiskin pilliin. Tai hakkais tahtiin. Jatkuva kuumotus saa yhteiskunnan jakautumaan kahtiin. Mut ei se toimi niin, ettei kuka kuuntele. Vaan kaikki vaan huutelee. Median ruokkii harhan luulla ja ei tuu maha täyteen. Ennen kuin se rikkoo psyykkeen. Joudu heittää kehä pyyhkeen ja laittakin TV. En usko enää yhteenkään uutiseen. Pistä pää ja silmät kiinni, älä lue uutisia. Pistä pää ja silmät kiinni, älä lue uutisia. Pistä pää ja silmät kiinni,